Greetings, YouTube. Dan Staten here on the Daily Dan blog. Welcome. Welcome to my world. Yeah, I'm back with another comic book review. I'm all messed up because today is Monday, and normally I do this on a Tuesday. But tomorrow, Tuesday, is July 1st, and that's payday for old people. So I'll be out tomorrow doing all kinds of July 1st payday things like getting beer and other stuff to celebrate the 4th of July week and weekend coming up. So let me wish everybody an early 4th of July. An early 4th of July 2025 from the Daily Dan blog. And let's get started with our early comic book review. And since it's the 4th of July, I thought I'd celebrate with some stars and stripes as our boy Bobby Sherman runs for president. That's right, it's a tribute to rock star Bobby Sherman, who rocked the 60s and 70s, was on the cover of Teen Beat, went one-on-one with Richard Nixon, apparently. Yeah, that's right. Today we're going back in time to 1972, when the Night Stalker was something new, when all the good stuff was happening in the world, when I was 7. Bobby Sherman comic books were on the shelf. I never had no Bobby Sherman comic books till I was in my 40s. This is the only two I've ever even seen, much less owned. I got these at I believe a flea market, and I was happy to get them because I'd never even seen them or heard of them. I'd never even heard of Bobby Sherman before I saw these comic books. So let's bust them open, take a look inside. We got giant posters to look at and all kind of cool stuff. If you checked out my other channel, The Fat Comic Book Guy, you probably saw me show some commercials out of one of these comics, but I didn't show none of the good stuff much. Oh, come on, Dave. Did you really think these comic books had some good stuff in it? Anyway, they're Charlton comics. They cost 20 cents. They come out in 1972. They chronicle the partying life of America's favorite teen icon, Bobby Sherman. If you've never heard of Bobby Sherman, you should pause this video and Google his ass right now. And Bobby Sherman loved himself quite a lot back in 1972. Inside the front cover, we get a really cool ad for some Bobby Sherman love beads. For only $1, you could have had Bobby Sherman's hippie love beads of the 60s, all left over from Woodstock that didn't sell. What? This comic starts with what might be the only exciting thing in all these damn comic books: a burglar's breaking into Bobby Sherman's pad. Whatever will happen as this evil-looking character with really bad taste in clothes. It must be the Riddler breaking in his house. Well, at least the art's good, as I specify this in full panels. Brought to you by the Daily Dan blog. Oh no, I should have known. The burglar's busted by Bobby and Darwood, his evil brother. Lionel, okay, his brother's named Lionel, super Hulk hairy guy, who captures the criminal. The criminal turns out to be a rat. That's right, they got rats. They got little fans trying to catch up. I want to be a fan. I ran away from home to be with you, Bobby. About that time, Barney Fife busts in the door. Barney thinking something's going on. Well, is somebody breaking in? I got a security alarm. Half-naked Bobby says, no, it's just a chick. We got this cool dude. Bust out of here, Barney. As they stand there, pretending like everything's normal, dressed in weird clothes of the 70s. Barney looks perplexed. Wow, more incredible Bobby Sherman merchandise. If I'm reading this right, you could have got these record-sized Bobby Sherman sealed envelopes, each one with a different picture. 500 of them, yes, 500 for $1. And you could have put all your records in nice, cool Bobby Sherman covers so you couldn't tell who was really on them. Oh, in panel after panel of depressing bullshit, this girl spills out her life story about how she run away from home because her parents are mean and cruel, how she wants to be with Bobby and have his babies. Wah, wah, wah. Bobby's girlfriend's like, what? What'd you just say? Oh, God, Bobby's girlfriend laid us smack down. How are we taking this bitch home? Bobby's girlfriend and Bobby, they roll off to the parents' house, and they got them go meet her dad. It turns out her dad's like Red Foreman, and he don't look too happy. He calls them all a bunch of dumbasses. Bobby does everything he can to talk jive to the dad, but the dad ain't having it. And so the dad goes off in these long, run-out rant stories about the 50s, about a time when people wore zoot suits. What the heck? And Bobby's merchandising continues. Yes, you could have had Bobby's private photo album. 75 star filled photos of Bobby baring his hairy chest just for you and the cool price of only $1 more. Bobby Sherman merchandise. Thrown in the middle of page after page of Dad telling stories about sock hops in the 50s. Dad telling about them lines for Elvis Presley concerts in the 50s. What the heck? The Secret of Bobby Sherman. You could have had this book for $1, detailing the life and rise of legendary Bobby Sherman. Dun 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 dun. And then you could have had this very cool, wonderful, gigantic pull out. You could pull this out and hang it on your wall of Bobby Sherman and his cool brother Harry S. Lionel. That's right, this is psychedelic hippie poster from the 60s in a 72 comic book. Could have been yours. And then we get back to Dad rolling off Dean Martin's stories about how he met Dino back in the 50s. How a zoot suit guy once tried to pick up his wife, but he beat him out. Oh my God, and now Dad's telling when he was a zoot-suiting young man, a door-to-door salesman trying to pick up his wife. Somebody ought to slap Dad in the face. I think Bobby's getting a little tired of hearing this generational gap crap. And if you ever wanted to ride all the superstars of Hollywood and rock fandom back in 1972, you could have ordered this book for $1. Of course, everything cost $1 back then. Up to date up until 1970 anyway, even though this book came out in 72. You could have had all the stars' addresses to write fan letters and get your pictures. Well, apparently they bridged the generational gap. Bobby Sherman has done it. Dad and daughter make up. Now they're going to be friends. Okay, whatever. They're going to be real good friends now, and life goes on. Bobby Sherman's ready to hit the road. I'm glad we got rid of that crazy girl. Yeah, Bobby, she was a little on the Looney Tunes. So in full panels brought to you by the Daddy Dan blog. They go out and they load up the big black Bobby Sherman hearse, because Bobby Sherman always tours in a big black hearse as they head for the Desert Festival. Wow. They arrive at the Desert Festival where the stage is being set up. They start jimmying out all their gear, their guitars, their drums, out of their big black hearse. And we learn the coolest thing about Bobby Sherman. The coolest thing is he tours in a big black hearse. Maybe I should look up some of his songs and see what this guy sounds like. They get up on the stage and begin to set up when they realize one big problem. Wah, wah, wah. Ain't no power. Ain't no power in the desert. Wonk, wonk, wonk. Swear to God, it freaking ends that way. No power. The end? Really? Really? My brain hurts. And we end this sad tragedy like that. I just had to take a break and go, what the hell? And we get a poster ad of I Love Getting Together. Wow, what a theme. Hey, in the back of this comic book, you could have ordered this really cool beauty and popularity magazine for $1. Then you too could have been beautiful enough to get banged by Bobby Sherman. Oh, did I say that out loud? And you could have played the game. You could have went line to line like some asshole did in this comic book. You could have drew it out. You could have drew out your own Bobby Sherman draw the character game. And if you want to pause the write-in love letters to Bobby, you're more than welcome to do that. Daddy Dan will not be pausing none of this crap. Daddy Dan will not be reading none of this crap. And it's 1972. What do you expect? You're going to get to see Tiger Beat's official Partridge Family. You could have had this for 75 cents because it wasn't worth $1. Oh. The Partridge Family must have sponsored Bobby Sherman's ass, as the back of this comic book is filled with Partridge Family stuff you could have ordered, like the Partridge Family magazines. And really cool Daddy Partridge records, where he tells a life story of how he was a redheaded stepchild. And for $2, you could have joined the greatest fan club ever formed. That's right, it's the Bobby Sherman experience. You too could have been a fan forever. And that's my look at Bobby Sherman, number 3, from 1972, based on the life of an exciting teen idol. Stay tuned. That's right, it's a double shot of goodness. I'm back in 2 seconds with another Bobby Sherman comic book right after these shout outs. So I guess I'll start where I always start with a special shout out to Dave Sunstrom and his incredible brother Steven Sunstrom here on the Good Stuff Guys. The Good Stuff Guys, YouTube's #1 channels. And be sure to check out Pat McCormick at the Golden Ranger TV here on YouTube. And the countdown's on for Thrash Pondo Ponds and Daily Dan in 3 weeks. Thrash Pondo Ponds and Daily Dan return to their weekly show where they save the world. Well, their bi-weekly show. Be sure to check out The Unapologetic Geek, our boy Tug E. McGill. He's got a book called Paradox. You need to check that out and check out the show, The Unapologetic Geek. We were on Sunday. We talked about Star Trek. The Next Generation movies. Oh boy. BBB, we love you. It's BBB, Brainbenders Banners. You should always check out BBB. Hey, and a special shout out to Bigfoot Michigan Rob over at True Cryptid Encounters. Hey, book 1 and book 2's out from BMR, and you gotta have them. Yeah, I'm trying. I got 2 books to do. I gotta be a little quicker than usual, so a special shout out to Corey's Comedy Channel. Hey, he's the only YouTube channel with business cards. You see them up there in the corner. Oh, way to go, Corey! My flock is everywhere. Sarah, our incredibly cool producer, the nostalgic Bob Blast Chance, retro nerd girl, AAP Homestead, AAP for life, and the Life Inside Indies channel with special shout outs to Supernatural Crossroads, Gypsy Road Eric. Be sure to check out his show. Oh, and a special shout out to Hair Metal Revolution. I got to get this stuff wrote down. And with that being said, we flash forward to October of 1972 with the Bobby Sherman special that really pisses me off because somebody wrote on the cover. Yeah, it's true, they wrote 15 on that for some reason. But it's Bobby Sherman Runs for President with a campaign poster inside and all kinds of coolness. Well, probably not. Let's bust it open and see how this goes. There's something strangely familiar about the love beads I see inside the front cover. Blah. And this one starts out really cool. He's looking for a #1 job. And this girl right here with them lips looks like she could deliver a #1 job. So in full panels brought by that damn blog way at a concert. Bobby Sherman's a jammin', he's singing, he's meeting all the little rats. Hey, even the green bitch from Star Trek done showed up. Hey, Bobby whipped out his little teeny tiny microphone. No, that's the press guy's little teeny tiny microphone. Bobby says, 1 minute, please. I am announcing I am running for president. We can't let that crook win again. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it's true. You could have had them 500 envelopes to put all your Bobby Sherman stuff in. Well, 500 envelopes that you could, whatever. Right after announcing his incredible candidacy, Bobby Sherman is bombarded with mail, and more mail from all over the world. He gets pictures and letters from the Kennedys, from the McMahons, from the Reagans. He reads all of them carefully. He even gets a letter from Shanghai Czech wishing him congratulations in the president race. Bobby was sitting back one day. He's reading through the letters when he hears there's a phone call he needs to take. Bobby, you need to take this call. Bobby, you need to take this call. That's right. It's President Nixon himself telling him, if you don't get out of this presidential race, hippie, I'm going to put the men in black on that ass. And we slid in David Cassidy, because if you read a comic book about One Teen Idol and watching this video, you're going to be really interested in David Cassidy. He appears in a lot better comic books than this one. So what happened with the president, Bobby? Well, I tell you, Sally, he was threatening me. He told me to drop out. So I told him my address is blah, 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 Watergate Hotel. If you got a problem, come on over here. Watergate Hotel? That's right. Bobby ain't got time to argue with Nixon. He's too busy waiting on the artist to get here to paint his portrait. They got to paint his portrait while he sits and stares at nude pictures of Susan Day from her private journal. No, what the heck? You could have ordered Susan Day's private journal for $1. That's hard to believe. Her book, her thoughts, her most intimate passions could have been yours for $1. Oh, God. Fully illustrated. And in honor of 4th of July, you get Bobby Sherman for president, a 4th of July special. Ain't this great? I hope that comes out to beat a freaking thumbnail. Wah, wah, wah. Nah, maybe I should hold it up again. I'm going for that thumbnail. With multiple start and stops in the same spot, there's a more of a percentage chance of it being the thumbnail. Bobby's upset as he debates dropping from the election. Nixon's pressure's getting to him. But suddenly, the stripper shows up and goes, "You won! You won!" I think she's on something. Oh, crap! She's not on drugs. Bobby Sherman freaking won! Can you freaking believe it? Bobby Sherman won! And they got us all. They got us all. He won the presidency of the Valley Stream Little League Association. Ha 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 ha. And here's that stupid star address book from 1972 again. Refer back to earlier comments. And here's a bunch more little crap you could have read. I'm not going to read none of it. If you want to pause it and read it, it looks pretty funny. You might want to check it out. I know my boy Michael Marone, that idiot, pause everything. He'll read every word. He'll send me 100 emails later telling me all about what I didn't read, making it real hard for me to find my links for live streams. Thank you, Michael Marone. Well, apparently Henry Winkler showed up from the one and only movie set, still in costume, and he was telling Bobby Sherman that, hey, we need to do something about your wardrobe because obviously this is the guy you want, giving you wardrobe advice. So in full sick panels brought to you by the Daddy Dan blog, Bobby Sherman and Henry Winkler go shopping. That's right, they out on the town. They're looking for some superhero style costumes for Bobby, so he'll fit right in to whatever circle he's trying to get in. Thank God, we get a commercial for Susan Day again. After that, I kind of need a commercial for some Susan Day beauty products because everybody wanted to date Susan Day. Oh my God, this comic book really ends like this. He's a two-horned, flying purple man-eater. What? Oh, the worst costume in history. Really? You're going to dress like that? Henry Winkler from the one and only looks really happy about that. The end, thank God. And you get some more reading. If your eyes didn't get burned out from them last scenes, you could actually read this dismal crap. Oh, God, man, I tell you what. I'm kind of glad this comic book's over. I don't know if Dave's going to call that the good stuff or not. And you get a Partridge Family commercial in the back. Partridge Family. You could have read about them in T-Beat, or you could have bought a Partridge Family comic book, which was 100 times better than the one I just looked at. Be sure to check out my Partridge Family comic book review here on YouTube. And apparently the Partridge Family on the back of the comic books. Same dismal back cover as the last one. And that's my 4th of July comic book special, remembering Bobby Sherman for president. Stars and stripes forever. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Be sure to check out all the cool channels I shouted out. I am going to add more channels to that list one day, I swear. And till next time, Daddy Staten for the Daddy Dan blog. Blog over, dudes!